Hello and welcome to this tips and techniques video from Master Your Photography. In this series we've carefully crafted a collection of short videos designed to provide you with key points on specific topics without any of the unnecessary waffle. Our goal is to give you practical information that you can immediately apply to your own photography. We understand that your time is precious, so we've condensed each video to deliver concise, actionable information. With our tips and techniques series, you'll gain the knowledge and the confidence to improve your photography in no time at all. So, that's probably enough waffle, let's get started. It will probably come as no surprise to you to learn that flowers are one of the most photographed subjects in the world. And it's easy to see why. They're bright, they're colourful, and they're readily available. It doesn't matter which season we're in, there is almost always something in bloom at every point within the year. And if you can't find any blooms, then concentrate on foliage and patterns and textures instead. In this video, I want to give you a couple of tips on how you can improve your flower photography. First of all, we wouldn't photograph flowers like this. It's just dull and boring and uninteresting. But if you get down low and zoom in on a particular bloom or group of blooms, then you can create much more impact with your flower photography. We can also use all the tricks that we have at our disposal, such as minimizing the depth of field. So if you've got a camera where you can change the aperture, then using a wider aperture such as f4 will throw the background out of focus. Conversely, an aperture such as f20 will keep more of the background in focus. And somewhere in the middle, around f11 in this case, is a kind of nice mix of the two. If you're shooting on a smartphone, then you probably can't change your aperture, but most smartphones will have something called portrait mode. If you use this, then it digitally will blur the background for you. So that's a little trick if you're a smartphone user rather than using a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. If you find that the contrast is a little too high, that's the difference between the light parts and the dark parts of your image, then you can reduce this by using a reflector. So in this particular shot, which is illuminated by direct sunlight, you can see there are some quite dark shadows underneath the petals. What we can do is we can use a reflector. So in this case it's a small piece of white card and it's just held underneath the blooms and it's reflecting some of that sunlight back into those shadow areas. And this reduces the contrast. Now you may decide you prefer the contrasty result or you want the lower contrast version. Either way, you've got a choice and you can manipulate the light to give you the result that you want. If you want to reflect even more light, then use a piece of silver foil. And it's actually a really good idea to just keep a folded up piece of foil and a small piece of white card in your camera bag, because then when you're out on location, you can use them to do exactly this kind of thing. Another good tip is to use a tripod if you're doing this kind of work. You may find that the blooms that you're photographing are blowing around in the wind, and if you couple that with your own movement if you're hand holding the camera, then you can easily end up with a blurred shot. If you can lock your camera down on a tripod, then that will at least eliminate one source of movement. Another thing that's worth keeping in your camera bag is a small piece of black card. You can drop this behind the bloom that you're photographing and create extra drama by having this really contrasty result of the coloured bloom against a solid black background. It's also worth experimenting with different colours of card. You may prefer to use a complementary colour to the bloom that you're photographing, or even a contrasting colour. But a black card is a kind of really good all-rounder and will certainly give much more drama to most floral shots. Don't forget to go in even closer and shoot macro images of the flowers as well. Now, most smartphones will even allow you to do this because they have macro modes built in. A macro lens on a mirrorless or a DSLR is ideal, but if you don't have one of those, then you can get close-up lenses that will fasten onto the front of your camera, and those are relatively inexpensive and can produce some really stunning results. Once you've got the main shot of your flower, then look for different angles and different approaches. Maybe go high and look straight down on it, or go low down and look up towards the sky and create silhouettes. If you've got a small water sprayer, you can spray droplets onto the blooms, and this can look really effective. So next time you're out and about and you see a flower, then hopefully you can use some of these tips to create a really stunning image. If you found these tips useful, then please comment below, and if you'd like more tips like this, then please hit the subscribe button, and then you'll be kept informed when we release new videos. Thank you for tuning in to Master Your Photography's Tips and Techniques series. We hope you found this video useful and practical. Remember, each photo you take is a stepping stone towards becoming a better photographer. So get out there and capture the world in your own unique way. Until next time, happy shooting.